I used to think being all in meant working harder, but I was wrong. Yeah, I trained, I studied hard, I worked hard, I reinvested in myself, showed up for myself, improved, had all the right habits, but I still drank. I still chased distractions and I still split my focus. And that ultimately led to me consistently falling short of who I could be. So in this video, we're going to talk about what being all in actually means and why what you stop doing matters a lot more than what you start doing. What is up, you guys? Sage here. I'm the CEO and founder of Legacy Africa. I'm also a partner in Office Cube and yeah, a couple of other things. Today, like I said, we're going to be focused on those couple of things. And the first part is most people think ambition is adding more, right? More habits, more routines, more work, more productivity. But sometimes the most productive thing you can do is remove something from your life, not add another thing. I'm going to go deeper on this a bit later, but there's an order of magnitude difference in how powerful it is to add something to your life and how powerful it is to remove things. We have a tendency to think, okay, in order to succeed, I need to start reading, I need to start meditating, start stretching, start working out, start. I'll make an example with journaling because that's, personal example. Like right now, like I journal. Um, Sundays, block out time, bust the journal out, and it gives you certain mental clarity. Obviously, there's another thing where you're sticking to a routine. It gives you a certain focus and an ability to take stock of where you are versus where you used to be, the things you used to worry about, what you're worried about now, and how things come and go. It has those benefits, right? Think about what that does for me versus what happened when I decided that I'm not drinking anymore. Start journaling, yes, you have those benefits. You stop drinking, you find out that you can train more often at a higher intensity. Your progress is improving. Your health is improving. Your strength, your energy levels, your ability to focus, to show up and work, your capacity to work improves. Your just your relationships, your ability to get a higher quality relationship, higher quality partner, mental clarity, there's so many downstream effects from stopping drinking that improve the already positive habits that you have in your life, in addition to removing the detracting parts of, you don't just pay for it the day you drink, you pay for it the day after that, and say 3 days later. Realistically, okay, Sage, you're exaggerating. Am I? So you drink on Saturday, you come back Sunday, you're supposed to be prepping for Monday. You don't do that because you're hungover, you're recovering, you're doing this and that. You might do a little day drink something. You might still go out for another one with the boys. You might do one thing or the other. But say you do half recover on Sunday and you come through Monday, you're half dead, or maybe you're quite productive. Maybe you're 60%, 70% as productive as you would be otherwise. Okay, you climb up the next day, it's 80%, the next day it's 90%. Say by Wednesday, Thursday, you're firing at 100%. What would have happened if you didn't go out drinking? You would have been locked in on Saturday, probably would have gotten some work done, you would have been able to prep during Sunday. You get up Monday, you're working at 100%. What I didn't factor in the previous time is each of those days where you weren't operating at 100%, there's an opportunity cost. You lose that 20% and you can't outwork that 20% because you can't work it more than 100 the next day or the day after that. And so there are so many moments and pieces of yourself and of your capacity that you're never able to recapture, as a result of keeping, again, that bad habit in your life. But more on the vices and how they affect you later. But we always tend to think that the addition of things is what will lead to our most productive selves. But very often, the orders of magnitude of difference come from when you remove things. And so the real shift is when you have less distractions, you have less noise, you have less energy leakage. Because what you don't realize is that energy is finite. You only have so much focus, so much emotional bandwidth, so much energy, and every distraction costs you something. So you start to think about, they call the attention residue. I'll talk about my phone right now. My phone, you can only get through to me on WhatsApp. My notifications are on. On email, my notifications are on. If you aren't on either of those applications, then you cannot get through to me. Simply because I refuse to give attention residue. I refuse to bankrupt my own attention. I refuse to bankrupt my focus. I refuse to bankrupt my energy. What do I mean by attention residue? Well, every single time something occurs while you're focused on one thing, your attention's split. Every notification, every noise, everything. You know, while I'm doing this, phone goes off. Oh, who is that? Oh, is it this one? Is it so and so? Is it this? Is it that? Which app is it? Is it that video? Is it this video? Oh, what? Now that's maybe 5% of my brain is going off in that direction. Next notification goes off 5%. This girl calls me 5%. That girl calls me 5. So we talk about the dropping of devices, right? So yeah, I'm not chasing girls anymore, which means I don't go out, right? That's time, energy, resources back to me. It means there's no one hitting up my phone in critical times where I wouldn't want someone hitting. Okay, it's time, energy, resources. I'm not spending the time looking for, searching, prospecting, doing whatever, looking for chasing tail. I'm not like, there's so many things that you get back that refurbish your time, energy, your resources, that you can reinvest into yourself, into the things that you're doing, that you have going on in the long haul. And all that comes from not the things that you added, but the things that you remove from your life. Because your focus is finite, your energy is finite, your attention is finite. You only have so much bandwidth. There's only so much you can focus on, you can do, you can think about within a 24-hour cycle. And the less you have, in terms of the fewer things you have to focus on, the more of that total focus you can dedicate to each of these things. It really is as simple as that. And I believe that's how you get to shift very, very quickly and become something that no one ever thought that you could be. Um, Simply because the cycles of your attention towards a specific one thing are larger. And so the cycles that you flow through, in terms of mistakes you were already going to make, things you were already going to realize, all that good stuff, instead of it happening over the course of a month, it's happening within a couple of days, maybe a day if you're crazy enough and you're doing enough. And so if you think about, I'm cycling through the work that you get through in a month, in a day, how much better than you am I going to be in a month? What if I keep doing that for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? And that's when you start seeing people transforming in front of your eyes in ways that don't seem possible, don't look possible, because you're applying your own time horizons to their execution cycles, and they're executing, failing, and iterating much faster than you are, simply because that's one of very few things that they're doing, one of very few things they're allocating resources to. And so it's only natural, it's only right that they would be further in that discipline. We tend to apply these courses of thought, perhaps, when we think about sporters, when we think about musicians. You think about your Mozart. He started playing when he was 5 years old. um, you know all the geniuses that we talk about, this combination of nature and nurture, you'll find that they began to do what they do at very young ages, and they saw it as play. And I believe that's what genius is, or where genius stems from, is what feels easy to you, what feels like play to you, but looks like work to others, is where you will find your genius lies. Very, very, very interesting concept. So, what sacrifice is not a punishment. Sacrifice is alignment, and sacrifice is your life matching your goals. That's what sacrifice truly is. When you don't do those things anymore, it's not just that those things are no longer a part of you, but it is that who you are today is practice for who you want to eventually become. And so the question becomes, why practice being someone that you don't want to be? Why practice doing things you don't want to do? You get what I'm trying to say? Like it's fun, man. It's the best thing in the world. Um, you know, smashing the hose until you realize that you're the hoe. Not because you're cheating on anyone else but yourself. Doesn't necessarily have to be a thing of like, no, because you're messing on your no. You don't understand, Chief. And Burna Boy and Dave have this song called "Cheating on Me," in which they detail this basically. Um, in which the hook goes, but I couldn't see that I was cheating on me, which is all those times where I was doing all those things, messing around, going to the parties, chasing the girls, chasing the validation, the vices. Ultimately, I was cheating on who I want to be. Ultimately, I was cheating myself of how much better I could be if only I were loyal to the things that I said I wanted for myself and I continued to execute on those things on a daily basis and I didn't allow myself to be strayed from my path. Oh my, who could I be? What could I be if I dedicated myself to me as much as I'm dedicating myself to these things that steal my time, my focus, my attention away from me, from my dreams? You know, these dreams that I say will one day put me in certain positions where I can take care of my people, take care of my family, take care of society, you know, take care of my clan, take care of um, the wider nation as a whole, take care of the continent. And it all starts from you and the choices that you make today. Uh, and your lack of commitment is almost an insult to the version of yourself that you could be. It's almost an insult to the people who believe in you. And I said to myself, there's people who believe in me, and I need to get my act together. You know, I need to get my act together. And I think the a very important thing that I think about sometimes, a lot of times, is man, I've messed up so many times. I don't give up. I don't give up. I don't ever give in. And you keep going. You know, you keep pushing. You give yourself a little bit of grace. You forgive yourself, and eventually, man, like I've gotten to a spot in my life where I am closer to being the viceless man than I've ever been. You know, there are really stints in my life where right now I'm not engaging in you know women in any way in the slightest. You know, and I don't even do casual conversation, my guy. You know, let alone. So like that's going on. There's no self-indulgence, there's no watching of, you know, all your your cousin's favorite sites, and all that good stuff, which is good. And I never thought that that was a possibility for me. Like there was definitely a point where, you know, maybe my young teenagehood or whatever the case, that I would never imagine that there would be a world in which my mind just wasn't consumed or infatuated. Because the danger of those things is that they do hijack your nervous system. They hijack your drive, your synthetic drive. Um, and as someone with like quite a higher libido naturally, I just never imagined that I could go from the dark places that I was to now that just not being a part of my life at all. And again, all that stems from is that focus and removing yourself from those environments, you know, staying out the way, as we call it. And I think that all those concepts are very, very powerful. And eventually you can find yourself in a place where you're right within. And I think that's the win ultimately. I think the win from walking the journey, any journey, whether it's your sport, your whether it's just your sport, your business, you're just training, you're in a very healthy relationship. Whatever the journey is that you're walking that is really good for you and is causing you to focus fully on the process itself and going through it, you know, chopping wood, carrying water. I think from that process, who you become that is the ultimate reward. Um, that becomes the reward within itself, which I think is very, very important. And so at some point, being locked in stops looking like doing more and starts looking like refusing to split your energy. And that's when you start seeing change fast. Like truly. That's when you really can become unrecognizable even to yourself. And here's the very important thing that I was going to say. And the reason why I was mentioning so in depth how bad it had gotten, even though I haven't gone into details. The reason why I mentioned how bad it had gotten, and I really haven't gone into any details at all. Just know, just know that the days were dark at some points, my friends. Um, Going from that to this, you sort of can't believe where you're at. Number one, and number two, sometimes what that causes you to do, or what you can do, is you tend to underestimate the enemy. You underestimate your past identity. You underestimate the allure and the power that your vices past still hold over you. So it's very, very important to stay out the way, stay isolated for as long as you can, stay in your routine, stick to your game plan, and don't walk outside of it. Because one split second, one wrong decision, you let your guard down, you take that one drink, you have that conversation with those couple of, with those, not necessarily that you obviously don't talk to people, you don't engage or whatever, but when the people that you're engaging with aren't good for you. You know it, but you do it anyway. And so long as you're doing it anyway, there's always that danger that, like, this one bad slip up, next thing you know, you're spiraling. And so, grace, give yourself a lot of grace, and only judge yourself on how bad you let it get. Or, yeah, only judge yourself on how bad you let it get, and don't judge yourself on how bad it could have gotten, because that loop is infinite and it's dark. Don't go down that path. Hold on, remain steadfast, and above all else, keep plugging away, man. Keep pressing forward. Thank you for watching. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for your next co-founder, or your next team members, Legacy Africa, the link is in the description box down below. It's absolutely free, so go check that out. If you are not an entrepreneur and you still did in fact enjoy this video, thank you for watching. Please do hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me. It really, really does. Um, yeah, thanks for watching. I've been Sage, standing on business. Signing out.